Now, allow me to go on my weekly rant about the Philadelphia Eagles.
Let's do it.
I'm so over this team, and I don't even have the energy to be disappointed anymore. I'm so past frustrated. I texted you when the Eagles went into halftime down 17-3 to the New York Giants on Monday Night Football, and just looked completely helpless. Then, the second half happens. The Giants realize they're the Giants and that, hey, if we win, we might not get Chase Young. So they certainly played that kind of football. It was almost like Miami Dolphins-esque when the Dolphins were, let's say, trying to compete in games and playing zero defense and blitzing in a tie game. It was just when it makes no sense to effectively guarantee they lose. The Giants went away from everything that worked in the first half. They decided they were going to stop testing the Eagles' secondary for reasons that don't make a ton of sense to me. It seemed like every time they took a shot, they scored a touchdown. But none of that in the second half, and the Eagles were allowed to claw back and eventually win in overtime. And I'm frustrated by it because I don't think winning does any good for this team right now. They're not good enough to compete in the playoffs. There's no chance of that. They were down to one receiver. They were down to one healthy wide receiver in this game.
Never seen such a thing, by the way.
No, they go into the game with three wide receivers. I've never seen a team start with three wide receivers, let alone get down to one. And, what was Jordan Matthews doing? They signed him every other week. You couldn't have called Jordan Matthews to come play. He knows the playbook. But,
as a fan, I've got to ask you, obviously you don't want to win.
Yeah.
Because, for your reasons, but isn't that the absolute worst way to win? By starting off with wow, we really stink and are getting blown out by the Giants, and then to actually to feel that emotion, and then to actually come back around and win, and we're not good enough to. It's great.
Yeah, because you make your peace with the fact this late in the season that this team's just not good enough to compete. Now the Eagles are still statistically still alive in the playoff hunt and still control their own destiny, which would include beating Dallas in Dallas. But they're just not good enough. Who cares? Once they get to the playoffs, I don't want to pick 10 picks later for the right to lose by 14 points to the Seahawks in the first round and not look good doing so. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't think this team is that far away. I really don't. I think a couple of young, fast wide receivers and a couple of cornerbacks, along with a new DC and OC, can really. I know that sounds like a lot
easily
when you put
attainable.
it like that, but that can change the entire direction of this franchise. I genuinely believe that, and even just so much as getting Deshaun Jackson back next year is going to be a giant help to this offense. Now it would be a major negative and borderline negligent to not add another speed receiver on top of Jackson after what we saw this year. But just getting Jackson back by himself helps this team. Here's an amazing story that I don't think is being talked about enough. So we mentioned they went into this game with three receivers, and Alshon Jeffrey gets hurt first. He's done for the season. I would say 50-50 if he ever plays for the Philadelphia Eagles again at this point. Then J.J. Arcega-Whiteside goes down after actually making a one really tough catch to keep drive alive. Down to Greg Ward, who was on the practice squad all season. They were getting Josh McCown ready to play wide receiver in case he was needed. They had him switch out at the helmet from the quarterback helmet to the regular helmet. They had him change his pads to wide receiver pads. Josh McCown. we talk frequently about emergency quarterbacks in case people get hurt. We were down to our emergency wide receiver, and it was Josh McCown.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like if this was in a 1940s newspaper, and this headline was brought to life in the 2000s, current day, we'd have such negative things to say about NFL football. This is so bad.
Well, it's a Disney movie, right? And McCown's going to go out and score the winning touchdown. Can't wait. Just ridiculous. I would just rather lose at this point. I really would. They're probably going to beat the Redskins this weekend, and all that does is prolong the misery and make sure we pick 18 instead of 12.
That's such a good thing, too, because I think you get a patch on your jersey for that.
That is true. And that patch is called Hang out for a second. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.